going to talk about free from suffering. Suffering can be explained as shouldering the burden of existence. All of us want to be free from suffering. We will take a verse from Zhongfeng Master's Thrice Yarning Chanting Service to discuss how to be free from suffering. Let's look at the verse. Why do we call the land of Amitabha as the land of ultimate bliss? It is because all the pains and sufferings do not exist in Amitabha's land. If a believer wants to seek the path to this land, one needs to look beyond the secular world and go deep into one's true nature. Why do we call the land of Amitabha the land of ultimate bliss? In the Amitabha Sutra, Shakyamuni Buddha made a bold statement. He said, west of here, past 100 billion Buddha lands, there exists a world called ultimate bliss. In this land, there is a Buddha called Amitabha, who is teaching the Dharma right now. In this statement, there are three existences. Existence of a world, a Buddha, and a Buddha who's teaching right now. Existence of a world is to let us know that the Western Pure Land is a real solid concrete place. Just like our earth is real and the country we live in, the house we live in, all has real location and is physically existing. When we say we're going to the Western Pure Land, it's like we are migrating into this perfect country and we already purchased the dream house over there. So in the brink of our death, we should be excited because we're going to be migrating to this beautiful world. So we should not be afraid of death anymore. And there is a Buddha called Amitabha. Amitabha is the creator of this pure land. He created the land for us to go to. He is like our father. As if I'm a child who's in elementary school, I know my dad will pick me up from school every day. So on the brink of my death, I know that Amitabha will take me to his pure land, my home. So I have no questions and no worry. I completely trust in him. He's teaching the Dharma right now. He's not only my father, he's also my teacher. He wants me to be an enlightened Buddha just like him. That's why we have to go to a pure land, to be with my teacher, to learn from him, and to become a Buddha just like him. If you really believe in these three existences, you should be able to be unmoved by any disaster. Your faith should be unwavering and should be solid like a diamond. Why is it called the ultimate bliss? It is because all the pains and sufferings do not exist in Amitabha's land. Over here in our world, we have three kinds of suffering. Suffering of change, and all-pervasive suffering. Suffering of suffering is the common suffering such as aging, sickness, death, and loss of loved ones. All these pain because of unfavorable situations. And there's suffering of change. When happiness ends, it becomes suffering. For example, at the end of the party, when the happiness is over, we might be sad. Or we were wealthy before and we have bankruptcy and now we're poor. That can be a suffering. Or heavenly being, they're having fun in heaven, but time is up. They have to go to the three evil realms. That is suffering. All because of change when the happiness ends. All pervasive suffering is a subtle kind of suffering, such as the transient nature of our mind, moment to moment change. There's never a moment that I stop thinking. It's never still. So that is a type of subtle suffering. Suffering of suffering is because we're angry at the unpleasant situation. Suffering of change is when we're greedy. We don't want the happiness to end. All pervasive suffering is because we're ignorant. We don't understand impermanence. At the Western Pure Land, the condition is perfect. All the afflictions, anger, greediness, and ignorance will not arise in us. That's why we have no pain and no suffering. So the Pure Land Buddhism is not apart from the Four Noble Truths or any other teaching of Buddha. If a believer wants to seek the path to this land, so what do we have to do to get there? A believer in the Pure Land Buddhism must believe in three inconceivable powers. The power of Amitabha, the power of the Buddha name, the power of one's mind. All the wonderful adornments in the Western Pure Land is all brought about by these three inconceivable powers. First, the power of Amitabha. Amitabha had eons of cultivation to make the Pure Land for us. He went through a lot of suffering for us. In the Infinite Life Sutra, it says, even though I must remain in a state of extreme pain, I will diligently practice, enduring all hardship with tireless vigor. Amitabha was a great bodhisattva. He suffered not because of his afflictions, it's because he wants to save us. He sacrificed so much for me. I must go to the Western Pure Land, so I do not let him down. Power of the Buddha name. The name Amitabha has incredible power. This name is created by Amitabha just for us, because he transferred all his merits and virtues into this name. So the name is a medium. We can connect and receive all his merits and virtues. This name is treasure of the Dharma that is very important to us. When we chant the Buddha's name, it's like when the sun comes out, all darkness disappears. When we invoke the name Amitabha, myriad evil deeds are wiped away. So when we invoke Amitabha's name, it's like the sun comes out, all the darkness is gone, or negative karma is gone. There's no more negative karmic burden. Most importantly is the power of our own mind. Amitabha, it means infinite light and infinite life. Infinite light is talking about our Buddha nature is beyond space. Infinite life is talking about our Buddha nature is beyond time. Our Buddha nature, it traverses through 10 directions and it pursues over 3 periods. It's beyond time and space. By chanting, that's when we bring out our true Buddha nature, our one pure mind. In the commentary of Amitabha Sutra by O.E. Master, he emphasized there's no name of Amitabha apart from the mind of infinite light and infinite life that is before us now at this moment, and there is no way to penetrate the mind of infinite light and infinite life that is before us now at this moment apart from the name Amitabha. Apart from Amitabha's mind of infinite light and infinite life that is before us now at this moment, we will not have the name Amitabha. Without the name Amitabha, we will not be able to penetrate and be aligned with our mind of infinite light and infinite life. So we need to ponder upon this carefully, how the 3 powers relate together. If we can really trust in Him, we have the 3 powers within us. There was a mother who was very, very poor and had a very unfilial son. The son scolded her every day, so she was really sad. She went to a nearby temple and complained to the master. The master heard of her story and said, now you know what hardship is. Why don't you sell your hardship? The lady said, I can sell my hardship? How do I do that? The master said, all you have to do is chant the name Amitabha and you'll be able to sell all your pain. This mother believed in it wholeheartedly and went home happily. When she got home, her son started yelling again, where did you go? Who do you think is going to cook dinner? How dare you? But this time, she's chanting the Amitabha's name inside and happily started cooking. After 3 years of happily chanting, one day she told her son, my dear son, I'm gonna go to the Western Pure Land in a few days. Please stay home and be by my side. The son didn't believe her, but that day he smelled this wonderful fragrance, so he stayed home. And the mother took a shower, put on clean clothing, sat in a chair peacefully, chanted Buddha's name, and passed away. So this mother, she was able to sell all her pain just by chanting. Why is that? Because of the power of Amitabha and the name itself and her own mind. Her condition was exactly the same, but because she changed her mind, she was able to be free from suffering. That's mainly the power of her own mind. She was able to know the time of her death in advance, because Buddha already came and told her when he's gonna come get her. That guarantees that she went to the Western Pure Land. When we chant Buddha's name, we really have the 3 powers within us. Lastly, one needs to look beyond the secular world to go deep into one's true nature. So again, it's about our true nature. We need to go beyond the secular world, the world of physical forms and objects. The physical world will only make us more attached, deluded, and have more suffering. So we look beyond the secular world and go deep, deep within our true mind. Our true mind has three greatness. Greatness of essence, greatness of attribute, and greatness of influence. Our true nature, it has greatness of essence. This essence is complete and whole, even though it's formless. It's never increasing nor decreasing. It's always the same. It's never about the secular world or how other people treat you or what your situations are. It's about if you are aligned with your inner essence. Greatness of attribute, it's about we are all naturally endowed with numerous excellent qualities. We have perfect wisdom, perfect compassion, all kinds of talents in the world. It's just we don't believe in our endless potentials. That's why it's not coming out. And we have greatness of influence. Our attribute have great influence in this world. No matter who you are, you can be a great influence to the society, to the world. We give rise to good cause and effects. True nature is incapable of doing anything evil or bad. It's only capable of doing goodness. There was a man in Australia. He lived in a house by a cliff for 50 years. Over the 50 years, he saved more than 160 people from suicide simply by striking a conversation with them and invite them to his house for tea. Just by talking to them, he was able to save so many lives. So we can all do that if we open our heart and tap into our true nature. So in summary, how do we be free from suffering? All we have to do is use our current suffering to awaken our true nature, just like that mother. Chant the name Amitabha to have deep concentration in the present moment. The present moment is the mind of infinite light and infinite life, our true self. Trust completely that Amitabha will guide us to the Western Pure Land at the brink of our death. We trust completely, so we're no longer afraid of death. So if we can believe and practice chanting Amitabha's name, then we'll be free from suffering now and forever. So that's the class for today. Thank you for listening. Amitabha.